Admiral James Miller stood at the large window of Earth's Space Command Center, his weathered face reflecting in the reinforced glass as he watched the alien ships appear one by one. They emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their sleek hulls gleaming under the distant sunlight. Each ship was at least 3 times the size of Earth's largest vessel. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the Galactic Council," reported Officer Lisa White, her voice steady despite the tension in the room. "They're requesting an immediate audience." Miller took a deep breath. Earth had been part of the galactic community for only 15 years, but they had followed every rule, signed every treaty, and maintained peaceful relations. What could be so urgent that the Council would send an entire fleet? The main screen flickered to life, showing the Council chamber. 7 alien representatives sat in their elevated seats, looking down at the camera with what Miller had learned to recognize as contempt, despite their different physiologies. "People of Earth," the head counselor began, his blue-tinted skin rippling with what seemed like barely contained anxiety. "We have come to a difficult decision. Earth is hereby placed under quarantine, effective immediately." Miller stepped forward. "On what grounds? We have followed every regulation. The Council has determined that Earth poses a significant risk to less developed species," another counselor cut in. "Your rate of technological advancement is concerning." The truth behind those words hit Miller like a physical blow. This wasn't about protecting other species. This was about fear, their fear of humanity's rapid progress. In just 15 years, humans had not only adapted to alien technology, but had begun improving upon it. Earth scientists had taken alien concepts and pushed them in directions the Council species had never considered. Where they saw limitations, humans saw possibilities. "This is a violation of our rights as Council members," Miller argued, maintaining his composure even as anger burned in his chest. "We demand a formal review and—" The head counselor raised a hand, silencing him. "The decision is final. An energy barrier will be established around your solar system. Any attempt to breach it will be considered an act of war." The transmission cut off abruptly. Miller turned to his staff, seeing the same shock and anger on their faces that he felt in his heart. "Get me the president," he ordered, "and contact all our off-world ships immediately." But it was too late. Reports started flooding in from Earth's vessels scattered across various trading posts and diplomatic missions throughout Council space. They were being detained, their crews confined to their ships or local stations. The next few hours passed in a blur of emergency meetings and failed diplomatic attempts. Miller watched helplessly as thousands of alien ships formed a sphere around Earth's solar system. Energy beams connected them, creating a web of light that would trap humanity in their own cosmic backyard. "Sir," Officer White called out, her voice breaking slightly. "The barrier is complete. We're cut off." Miller stared at the tactical display, showing the barrier's energy readings. Humanity had just been caged like animals, and the Council probably expected them to accept this fate quietly. But they had made 3 critical mistakes. First, they had forgotten that humans thrived under pressure. Second, they didn't realize how much technology Earth had already reverse-engineered. And third, perhaps their biggest mistake, they had given humanity a reason to unite against a common enemy. Miller walked to his office, closed the door, and activated the highest level of security encryption. He opened a secure channel to a very specific frequency. "This is Admiral Miller," he spoke clearly into the comm. "Initialize Project Phoenix. Authorization code. Earth endures." A short confirmation beep was his only reply. As he looked out at the barrier shimmering in the distance, a grim smile formed on his face. The Council thought they had contained humanity. Instead, they had just triggered their own downfall. Earth would not take this lying down. And when they finally struck back, the galaxy would learn why you should never corner a species that had spent its entire history overcoming impossible odds. The real question wasn't if humanity would break free. The real question was, What would be left of the Galactic Council when they did? 5 years had passed since the day Earth was imprisoned behind the energy barrier. From the outside, it seemed humanity had accepted their fate. The Council's monitoring stations reported only routine activities: farming, local manufacturing, and modest technological advancement that stayed within acceptable limits. The Council was wrong, very wrong. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that didn't exist on any official records, Dr. Emma Reed stared at the results on her screen with tired but triumphant eyes. She hadn't slept in 36 hours, but it didn't matter. The quantum communication device worked. "Run the test again," she ordered her team. The device hummed to life, its crystal core glowing with a soft blue light. On a screen across the room, data appeared instantly, information transmitted through quantum space, completely undetectable by the Council's barrier. "Perfect synchronization," reported her assistant. "No delay, no data loss." Emma allowed herself a small smile. The Council thought their barrier could keep Earth isolated. They were about to learn that nothing in the universe could stop information that didn't need to travel through space. In another hidden facility under the Pacific Ocean, Military Commander Robert Thompson reviewed the latest reports from his network of human allies scattered across Council space. The reports came through Dr. Reed's quantum channels, invisible to alien detection. "The Council still believes we're trapped and powerless," one report read. "Their guard stations are operating at minimum capacity." Thompson pulled up a holographic map showing the positions of Earth's scattered fleet. The ships had been stuck in various ports and stations when the barrier went up, their crews apparently living quiet lives of forced retirement. In reality, each ship had become a secret base of operations, gathering intelligence and resources. The Council's biggest mistake wasn't just imprisoning Earth, it was leaving humans scattered throughout their territory when they did it. Back on the surface, Earth showed all the signs of a defeated civilization. Old-style rockets launched satellites that were clearly inferior to alien technology. Cities grew slowly. The global economy shifted to focus on internal trade. But underground, in secret facilities across the planet, humanity worked with silent determination. In an Australian desert facility, engineers tested new weapons that combined Earth's creativity with alien tech. In a hidden African base, pilots trained in simulators that pushed the boundaries of what Council ships could do. Under the Arctic ice, scientists developed AI systems that could outthink any alien computer. Admiral Miller, now with more gray in his hair but the same fire in his eyes, stood in the central command room of the Rocky Mountain facility. Screens showed him everything: the network of human agents throughout Council space, the status of every secret project, the positions of every Council monitoring station. "Dr. Reed's quantum communication system is ready," an officer reported. "We can now coordinate with every human asset without detection." Miller nodded. "And Project Phoenix?" "The new ships are complete, hidden in underground hangars across the planet. The AI integration is perfect, better than anything the Council has ever seen." Miller walked to a secure terminal and began typing a message that would be instantly transmitted to every human agent and ship across Council space through the quantum network. From Earth Command to all human assets. Subject: Authorization Phoenix Rising. The time has come. Position assets according to planned coordinates. Await final signal. Earth remembers. As the message went out, Miller thought about the Council's arrogance. They thought they were dealing with just another young species that needed to be contained. They didn't understand that humans had spent thousands of years dreaming about the stars. Now that humanity had touched space, no force in the galaxy could keep them from it. In the depths of space, aboard Council stations and trading posts, humans received the message. Ship captains began quiet preparations. Undercover agents moved into position. Each of them had waited 5 years for this moment, building networks, gathering intelligence, preparing for the day Earth would strike back. The Council had given humanity 5 years to sit and think about their imprisonment. They were about to learn that you should never give humans time to plan. The Council's chief technology officer paced nervously in his private chamber. The latest reports from Earth made no sense. Their monitoring systems showed only basic technological progress. Yet something felt wrong. His door chimed. "Enter," he called out. A junior analyst rushed in, holding a datapad with shaking hands. "Sir, we've detected an energy spike from Earth's moon base. It matches our most advanced reactor technology." "Impossible," the chief said. "They shouldn't have that level off." The realization hit him like a plasma bolt. They had been fooled. Meanwhile, on Earth's moon base, Dr. Emma Reed smiled as she watched the Council's monitoring satellites adjust their sensors. "They finally noticed," she said to Admiral Miller, who stood beside her watching the same display. "Too late, of course." Miller nodded. "How long have we actually had their reactor technology?" "We reversed engineered it 12 years ago," Reed replied. 3 years before the quarantine. They never realized we'd already copied and improved most of their basic systems before they locked us away." The truth was, humanity hadn't just copied alien technology. They'd understood it in ways the Council species never had. Where aliens saw finished products, humans saw possibilities. Where they saw limits, humans saw starting points. In a secure facility under the Atlantic Ocean, Commander Thompson supervised the final tests of Project Phoenix's crown jewel, the Human AI Integration System. On massive screens, test pilots merged their consciousness with artificial intelligence cores, achieving reaction speeds and processing power that no Council species could match. "Sir," one of the technicians called out, "the latest neural interface test results are ready." Thompson reviewed the data and allowed himself a rare smile. The Council races had never managed to create true AI integration because their brains couldn't process information quickly enough. But human minds, evolved through millennia of split-second survival decisions, could handle the load. "Send the results to Admiral Miller," Thompson ordered. "It's time he saw what we can really do." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden achievements were coming to light. Jupiter's moons concealed shipyards building vessels that combined human ingenuity with enhanced alien tech. Venus's toxic atmosphere hid automated factories producing weapons that no Council race had imagined possible. In his command center, Admiral Miller received Thompson's report and added it to his growing list of humanity's secret advantages. On his main screen, he watched the pieces falling into place. Quantum communication networks that the Council couldn't detect. Advanced AI systems that could outthink any alien computer. Hybrid weapons combining multiple alien technologies in ways their creators never considered. Ships with human AI integration that could react faster than any Council vessel. A scattered fleet that had spent 5 years gathering intelligence and resources. But humanity's greatest advantage wasn't technological. It was psychological. The Council races had evolved in stable environments, developing their technology slowly over millions of years. Humans had evolved on a planet where survival meant constant adaptation, where Council species saw technology as something to be used. Humans saw it as something to be improved. "Admiral," Officer White called out, "we're receiving a transmission from our agents in Council space. 3 more of our trapped ships have completed their upgrades with the stolen tech." Miller nodded. The Council's greatest mistake hadn't been imprisoning Earth. It had been leaving human ships scattered across their territory. Each vessel had become a secret base, each crew a hidden army of innovators. In the depths of space, those scattered ships were almost ready. Their crews had spent 5 years studying Council technology up close, making improvements the aliens never thought possible. When Earth finally struck back, these ships would be humanity's secret weapons. "Sir," Dr. Reed said, entering Miller's office with new data. "The Council's finally realized something's wrong. They're increasing their barrier strength and doubling their patrol ships." Miller looked at the tactical display, showing the Council's frantic activity. "Let them," he said calmly. "They're reinforcing defenses against the wrong threat. They think we're trying to break out. But we never needed to. Reed finished. We're already out there. The Council had built a cage to contain humanity, never realizing that their prisoner had already picked the lock. Now all that remained was to spring the trap. Earth was ready for revenge. The Council's monitoring station near Alpha Centauri was quiet. Its crew of 20 aliens had the easy job of watching empty space, making sure Earth's quarantine remained unbroken. The station commander was sipping his morning drink when the alarm suddenly screamed to life. Multiple ships approaching. His sensor officer shouted, They're human vessels." "Impossible," the commander said, rushing to his station. "How did they get past the barrier?" The answer hit him just as the first shots did. These ships hadn't broken through the barrier. They had been outside it all along. Across Council space, similar scenes played out at exactly the same moment. Earth's scattered fleet, trapped outside during the quarantine, revealed their true power. 5 years of secret modifications transformed them from simple trading vessels into weapons of war. Commander Thompson, coordinating from his underwater base on Earth, watched through Dr. Reed's quantum communication network as every human ship attacked simultaneously. The Council's monitoring stations never stood a chance. "First wave successful," Thompson reported to Admiral Miller. "All primary targets neutralized. No casualties on our side." Miller nodded grimly. They had chosen to disable rather than destroy the stations, showing more mercy than the Council had shown Earth. "Begin Phase 2, he ordered. In orbit around distant worlds, Council defense ships suddenly found their systems failing. Human eye, far more advanced than anything the Council possessed, sliced through their computer defenses like they weren't even there. "Sir," Officer White called out from her station, "the Council's barrier control stations are going dark. Their energy grid is failing. The Great Barrier that had imprisoned Earth for 5 years flickered and died. From hidden bases across the solar system, humanity's new fleet emerged. Sleek ships powered by hybrid technology that combined the best of human and alien engineering rose from their secret hangars." Dr. Reed stood at her command console, monitoring the quantum network that kept Earth's forces in perfect coordination. "All ships reporting ready," she announced. "The AI integration systems are performing beyond expectations." In the Council's main chamber, panic erupted as reports flooded in. Human ships were appearing everywhere, moving with impossible speed and precision. Their weapons combined technologies in ways the Council had never imagined. "How?" the head counselor demanded. "How did they advance so far under the barrier?" The answer came in the form of a transmission. Admiral Miller's face appeared on their main screen, his expression calm but determined. "You made 3 mistakes," Miller said, his voice carrying across the stunned chamber. "First, you assumed we needed the barrier down to advance. We didn't. We had already copied your basic technology before the quarantine." On cue, another wave of human ships appeared, demonstrating weapons that shouldn't have been possible. "Second," Miller continued, "you left our people scattered across your territory. Every human ship and crew you trapped became a secret research station. The Council watched in horror as their defense networks fell to human AI systems. And third," Miller's voice hardened, "you gave us time. 5 years of uninterrupted preparation. You should have remembered. Humans are at their most dangerous when backed into a corner." In space, the battle wasn't even close. Human ships, controlled by hybrid AI-human systems, moved with reflexes no alien crew could match. Council vessels found their weapons useless against shields that combined multiple alien technologies in ways their creators had never considered. "All primary objectives secured," Thompson reported. "The Council's main defense fleet is disabled. Their communication networks are under our control." "Casualties?" Miller asked. "Minimal. Most Council crews surrendered once they realized they were outmatched. We're treating all prisoners according to Galactic law, better than they treated us." Miller looked at the tactical display showing humanity's forces in perfect position around key Council installations. In just 6 hours, they had dismantled the Council's military power. Not through brute force, but through careful planning and superior innovation. The Council had imprisoned humanity, thinking they were containing a threat. Instead, they had created one. The Council chamber, normally a place of order and control, had descended into chaos. Council members shouted over each other as emergency reports flooded their screens. The head counselor slammed his ceremonial staff against the floor repeatedly, trying to restore order. Silence. He roared. We must maintain control. Control. Another counselor laughed bitterly. The humans have disabled our entire defense network. They've taken control of our monitoring stations. What control do we have left? The chamber's main screen suddenly activated by itself. The council members fell silent as multiple human figures appeared in perfect holographic detail, a display of technology they had thought impossible through their security systems. Admiral Miller stood center screen, flanked by Dr. Reed and Commander Thompson. Behind them, screens showed the status of Earth's forces across Council space. Members of the Council, Miller began, his voice calm but carrying an edge of steel. 5 years ago, you imprisoned our world without trial or right of appeal. Today, we're here to discuss terms. Terms. The head counselor sputtered. You dare to. We dare. Dr. Reed cut in, stepping forward. Would you like to see what else we dare to do? She raised her hand, and with a simple gesture, every piece of technology in the council chamber shut down, except for their holographic projection. The council members stared in shock. Their most secure systems had just been deactivated like they were children's toys. Impossible, one of the council's technical advisors whispered. Our systems are quantum encrypted. No one cold. Your encryption was outdated 3 years ago, Reed explained. While you watched us through your barrier, thinking we were trapped in simple technology, we were actually surpassing you in every field. Commander Thompson stepped forward next, pulling up tactical displays showing Earth's forces surrounding every major council installation. Your military assets are either under our control or disabled. Your communications networks now run through our systems. We could end your civilization with a single command. The council chamber erupted in fearful murmurs. Several members began sending urgent messages to their homeworlds, only to find their communications being redirected through human networks. But we're not like you, Miller continued. We don't believe in imprisoning entire civilizations. We're here to establish a new order, one based on cooperation and mutual respect, not fear and control. As if on cue, representatives from various council races began requesting emergency audience. Miller nodded, and their holograms appeared in the chamber. The Human Federation's claims are true, announced the military commander of one of the council's strongest member races. Their technology exceeds our understanding. We support their call for new leadership. One by one, council members watched as their allies abandoned them. Species that had feared humanity's potential now saw them as the stronger power to align with. How? The head counselor finally asked, his voice barely a whisper. How did you advance so quickly under the barrier? Miller smiled grimly. The barrier only stopped ships and standard communications. It didn't stop human ingenuity. Every limitation you placed on us became a challenge to overcome. Every restriction became a puzzle to solve. Dr. Reed stepped forward again. Your greatest mistake was assuming we needed your permission to advance. Humans have spent their entire history looking at barriers and finding ways around them. Your quarantine didn't stop us. It just gave us a reason to prove you wrong. The council members looked at each other in growing despair as they realized the full extent of their mistake. They had tried to contain humanity out of fear of what they might become. Instead, they had created exactly what they feared most. Now, Miller said, his voice carrying the weight of 5 years of waiting. Shall we discuss the future of galactic governance? We have some suggestions for improvement. The council members could only nod in shocked agreement. In less than a day, their entire power structure had been upended. The species they had tried to cage had not only broken free, but had surpassed them in ways they couldn't even understand. The age of the Council's rule was over. The era of humanity had begun. The next 48 hours showed the galaxy what humanity could really do. From his command center, Admiral Miller watched as Earth's forces moved with perfect precision, dismantling the Council's remaining power structure piece by piece. Status report. Miller called out to his staff. Officer White brought up the main display. Sir, Phase 3 is proceeding ahead of schedule. Our AI-integrated ships have secured all major Council trade routes. Commander Thompson's forces have disabled their remaining military installations. On another screen, Dr. Reed's quantum network showed the position of every human ship across Council space. They moved like a perfectly coordinated dance, each vessel knowing exactly where it needed to be. The Council species are starting to understand what we can really do, Reed said, studying the incoming data. Their scientists are, well, they're in shock. They just analyzed one of our hybrid ships. Miller smiled slightly. What's their reaction? They can't believe we managed to combine their technologies in ways they never imagined. One of their chief engineers actually started crying when he saw our AI integration system. The Council had always seen different technologies as separate tools. Humans saw them as pieces of a puzzle that could be combined in endless ways. Where aliens had stayed in their lanes, humanity had crossed them all, creating something entirely new. In orbit around a major Council world, a human ship demonstrated its capabilities to a group of alien observers. The ship's AI-human hybrid crew performed maneuvers that should have been impossible, the vessel moving with the speed of a computer, but the intuition of a human mind. Their weapons are useless against our shields, Commander Thompson reported from his command ship. We combined 3 different alien shield technologies into one system. They never thought it was possible. The Council's military forces across the galaxy were surrendering without a fight. There was no point in resistance. Human ships could disable their systems with a thought, their superior technology making conventional weapons look like toys. But humanity showed mercy in victory. No ships were destroyed. No crews were harmed. Earth's forces disabled and secured, but never killed. Admiral, Officer White called out suddenly. We're receiving surrender messages from the last holdout Council worlds. They're requesting terms. Miller nodded. Send them the same terms as the others. We're not here for revenge. We're here to build something better. The terms were simple but firm. The Council would be disbanded. A new galactic alliance would be formed, with all species having equal representation. Technology would be shared, not hoarded. No species would ever be quarantined again. In her laboratory, Dr. Reed was already working with alien scientists, showing them how humans had improved upon their technology. Many were amazed not just by what humans had achieved, but by their willingness to share knowledge. Your people imprisoned us, one alien scientist said to Reed, but your people are offering to teach us. That's the difference between us, Reed replied. You saw knowledge as power to be controlled. We see it as a light that grows brighter when shared. Commander Thompson's forces had finished securing the last of the Council's military bases. His AI-integrated ships now patrolled trade routes, ensuring peace as the galaxy adjusted to its new reality. It's strange, Thompson said during a report to Miller. We spent 5 years preparing for a war, but in the end, we won without really fighting one. Miller looked at the galaxy map, now showing human ships protecting the very worlds that had once feared them. Sometimes the best victory is the one where you don't need to destroy your enemy. Sometimes it's better to show them a better way. Across Council space, former member worlds were already adapting to the new order. Many were relieved. The Council's rigid control was being replaced by human innovation and cooperation. The species that had tried to cage humanity now looked to them for leadership. The civilization they had feared had become their protector. Earth had not just broken free from its prison. It had reformed the entire galaxy. And this was just the beginning. 1 month after humanity's show of force, The galaxy had changed completely. The Great Hall that once housed the Galactic Council now hosted the first meeting of the new Galactic Alliance. Representatives from every spacefaring species filled the chamber, including those the Council had once considered too primitive to participate. Admiral Miller stood at the podium, looking out at the gathered delegates. The former Council members sat among the others now, no longer on their elevated platforms. It was a powerful symbol of the new era. 6 weeks ago, Miller began. Earth was imprisoned behind an energy barrier. Today, we gather as equals to build a better future for all species. Dr. Reed sat among a mixed group of scientists from various worlds. Her quantum communication network had already been shared with other species, revolutionizing galactic communications. Alien scientists who had once feared human advancement now worked alongside Earth's experts, combining their knowledge in ways that benefited everyone. The latest hybrid ship designs are ready for sharing, Reed announced to the assembly. These vessels combine technologies from 6 different species, demonstrating what we can achieve when we work together. The ships she displayed were unlike anything the galaxy had seen. True products of cooperation rather than competition. Human AI systems worked alongside alien computers, each making the other better. Different species technologies complemented each other in ways no one had imagined possible. Commander Thompson, now head of the new Alliance Defense Force, presented the security protocols that would protect all member worlds. His fleet, once the weapon that brought down the Council, had become the shield that protected galactic peace. Every member world will have equal protection, Thompson explained. No species will ever again face imprisonment or isolation. We stand together, or we don't stand at all. The former head counselor, now just one representative among many, approached Miller after the session. We feared your species would destroy us, he admitted. Instead, you've lifted us all higher. We were wrong about humanity. Miller nodded. Fear often makes us wrong. That's why the Alliance's first law bans the isolation of any species. We advance together, or not at all. Across the galaxy, the changes were already visible. Trade routes once controlled by the Council now flowed freely. Worlds that had been deemed too primitive were receiving education and technology to help them advance. The barrier that had imprisoned Earth was being dismantled, its energy repurposed to power new defensive shields protecting Alliance worlds. Officer White, now a senior commander in the Alliance fleet, brought Miller the latest reports. Sir, the last of the Council's restricted technologies has been released to the general database. All species now have access to the complete library of galactic knowledge. This was perhaps humanity's greatest victory, not the defeat of the Council, but the creation of something better. Where the Council had hoarded knowledge, the Alliance shared it. Where they had feared change, the Alliance embraced it. Dr. Reed's laboratory had become a hub of interspecies cooperation. Look at this, she said to Miller, showing him a new device created by a team of human and alien scientists. It's a combination of 3 different species medical technology. It can cure diseases we once thought impossible to treat. Commander Thompson's AI-integrated ships now carried mixed crews from different species, proving that cooperation made them stronger than competition ever had. The galaxy is changing, he reported. And for once, it's changing for the better. Miller stood at the great window of the Alliance headquarters, looking out at the ships coming and going. Vessels of every species flew together, their different designs a testament to the diversity that now made them stronger. 5 years ago, he said to his staff, they tried to lock us away from the stars. They never realized that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our intelligence. It's our ability to turn enemies into friends, to build something better from the ashes of conflict. The galaxy had learned a crucial lesson. Never imprison humans, not because they'll seek revenge, but because they might just show you a better way to live. Earth's revenge hadn't been destruction. It had been enlightenment.